Hey everyone, welcome to the Ceres Podcast. In this episode, we're doing something a little different. After the success of the Scottish roundtable, we thought it was time to bring together a Welsh roundtable. This episode is hosted by Zohaib Hussain from Zero Plus Fish Bar in Cardiff, and he's joined by Ryan Hughes from Ship Deck in Caerphilly, Danny Whitemere from Enochs in North Wales, and Jemma Hennighan-Evans from Hennighans, who have two fish and chip shops in mid Wales. Together, they represent a wide range of fish and chip businesses across all of Wales. We'd also love to do another Scottish roundtable soon, so if you want to be on that, just get in touch, and very possibly another Welsh one too. These are some really good, excellent episodes that are really bringing a lot of diverse interests and thoughts about their fish and chips in their region. So if you want to be involved, do get in touch. So, if you're running out of stock at the wrong time, this is a problem that you just don't need. At Ceres, we get rid of that problem because we have free next day mainland shipping. We focus on the things that matter most: consistency, clear cut-off times, and deliveries that arrive when we say they will. From natural batter mix, pre-dusts, to deep fry cleaner and heavy duty descaler, we supply fish and chip shops, restaurants, pubs, and so much more across the UK with products that we've developed and that you customers need every week. You trust us to never miss a beat. Most businesses don't change suppliers on a whim, they change because something went wrong. Our job is to make sure it doesn't. So, if you already know what works in your shop, reordering should be really simple. Click away at www.ceres.shop, free mainland UK delivery, and we make sure we get it right. I hope you enjoyed this episode with the Welsh Friars. Let us know what you think.
Thanks for joining us today. Today, you are listening to the first Welsh roundtable for the Ceres Podcast. I'm joined today by three of my friends and acquaintances around Wales. So we've got a nice selection of friars for you today. So I'm Zoe from Zero Plus in Cardiff, and I'll let the other attendees introduce themselves now.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Hughes and I'm from Ship Deck Fish and Chips in Caerphilly. Glad to be on the podcast and I'm looking forward to getting into conversations.
Hi, I'm Jemma Hennighan-Evans from Hennighans Fish and Chips in Machynlleth, mid Wales. Very exciting to see the range of topics we have here and the variety of opinions that we're all going to have on these.
Hi, I'm Danny Whitemere. I have Enochs Fish and Chips on the North Wales coast. Yeah, I'm really delighted to be part of this today. It's going to be really interesting, and I think we've got some good topics to talk about that you might be interested in too.
Good. Just before we get into the topics, how's trade been this year? We're nearly at the end of March now, at the end of the first quarter. How's trade been for you guys?
Touch wood, so far we've had a really strong January, dropped off a little bit in February, but picked back up nicely. I think now the weather's changing as well. We'll see some customers on the seating area outside. So far, so good. We can't really grumble down our end anyway.
Yeah, I think the weather for us as well is going to be the turning point. We've had a bit of a drag in January, which we normally do anyway, but it slightly picks up with the rugby for us, with the Six Nations in Cardiff. But Wales haven't been playing brilliantly at the moment, so not many people have been going out to watch. Yeah, we're slightly getting back into the swing of things as well. How about you, Jen?
We had a good start in January. We had the one shop closed, as we always do for the winter. So we had all trade in the other shop. And once we opened the top shop back up in February, we've been open a month now. We had a drop back in the bottom shop for about a week, but nothing major. Is what we expected, is what we wanted as well. But other than that, I think we've had a brilliant start to the year. The caravan's open now, so it's to our advantage. But I just think Easter's a bit too early for us this year, but let's hope we can claw it back in May.
Oh, good. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, we had a bit of a bad end to last year. The back end of last year wasn't very good for us, but January's proved to be very well. We've not finalised February as such, but yeah, things are looking up though. I think this better weather is helping because we're on the coast, so we rely a lot on tourism. Yeah, I think once the weather gets better, we'll see a spike in customers, I'm sure.
Oh, good. So we're all waiting for the weather, so we shouldn't have any problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, then we will jump straight into our first topic. So Ryan, over to you if you want to introduce your topic, and then we'll all jump in.
Yeah, so the topic I'm going to be discussing today is getting customers through the door. And when I say getting customers through the door, I don't mean getting the trade online or deliveries. I mean actually seeing the customer in person and getting them over the threshold of the doorstep. Like obviously, as you know, Zoe, I've got another company which is an online food aggregator. So what I'm discussing today is probably going to be a little bit contradicting, but obviously I run ShipDeck and then I run the other company completely separate. So getting customers through the door, basically I just want to take it back to old school really, forget the technology side of things and just get people in person, have a conversation with them, give them that customer service. And I know the fish chip industry is changing. There's ordering kiosks, there's online platforms, there's an app. There's many ways people can order, but I realistically I want to let the shop and the food and the customer service do its talking, and just take it back a little bit. So forget the technology for a little bit and hold off to the traditional way as long as I can. So first off, just little things. I know we've spoken about this one before, Zoe. So you pass a lot of food places, and the first thing you see in the window is loads of Just Eat stickers, Uber Eats stickers, every platform you can think of. And I can see Zoe smiling because I've actually said to you about this before. Zoe, get that sticker out your window.
Yeah, you have.
So for me, I think you've got a customer come into your shop. They come into your shop to purchase food. And then when they get to your shop, they see Just Eat stickers, Uber Eats stickers, etc. Then the next time they visit, they're just going to go online and order. So we're actually encouraging those customers to order online, and then we give in money to Just Eat. We're taking away that personal service. The food's never as good when it's delivered. I want them customers through the door, and I just think it's crazy to put stickers and advertise online ordering, and we push in people, and everyone's doing it these days. They push in people, and I know we all think to ourselves, well, we just want to get extra trade. So if we let everyone know we're on Just Eat, we'll get extra trade. But they're already over your step, they're already on your property, and then we're encouraging them to go online. So obviously, before I go on to the other factors of what's your views on that, guys? Have you got Just Eat stickers in the window? Are you one of the guilty ones? Oh, yes, I know you have.
Yeah. I'd say I'm definitely guilty of that. But I'd say I think when I did my rebrand of my shop and I opened up, I was like, right, I'm not going to go on these aggregators. It's not for me. I've invested in a POS system that has online ordering, click and collect. Let's do it that way. And then I mean, I have those apps anyway. I know some of us, we don't have Uber Eats or Deliveroo or Just Eat, but I had Deliveroo on mine anyway. And I used to do a quick scan of what's in my area, what are they offering, and all of my competitors were on there. And for me, it was just like, I need to have a presence on there because I think we're in different localities as well, because I'm in city centre. If all of my competitors are on there, I'm thinking, right, they might claw away my customers. So if I'm not on there and my customers are, and they want fish and chips for whatever reasons, they can't leave the house, they want more time with their family.
Yeah.
They're doing it on the way back from work, then they will use those apps. I think I'm at the stage now where I'm content in thinking that my customers will be on these apps. There's nothing I can do about it. Deliveroo and Just Eat and Uber, they've pumped so much money into marketing, especially at students in my areas, in city centres, that I can't get away from it. So unfortunately, I was reluctant, but I did jump on the aggregators. I'm on Deliveroo and Uber. I'm not on Just Eat.
I get that side, and it's like I'm not trying to say we all need to come off it because we need to get our revenue in. But what I'm saying is people are going to use the apps. And I'm not saying don't be on the apps, but just don't try and persuade your existing customers which are coming in store to switch to that app. be on there because you need to be on there, and we generate revenue from it. Like I've got rid of everything in my store now. I've got our own app, and we have still got Just Eat, but I'm really phasing that out. I'm putting stickers on all the bags, order direct, come in store, prices are cheaper, etc. And it is working.
We go through a marketing phase as well. So we put stickers on there. Say if you order in store, click and collect, you can save 30%. So we try and entice the customers to come and do click and collect if they can.
Yeah, like I think there's obviously we need to be on there because there's revenues coming in from there, and the world is changing. There's some people are not going to leave the house, and it's all about convenience. So by all means, definitely be on there. I just don't think we should be advertising it in our shops. Like none of my delivery drivers use Just Eat bags. Every time an orders on Just Eat, they either get a sticker on the bag or they told to order direct. And like the new thing with Just Eat is I've had it quite a lot. So going back to the other company, we were dealing with this yesterday. The new online banks now, like Monzo and things like that, you can order on that and just do a clawback. And then that gets taken back off Just Eat or whatever you've ordered. But Just Eat give that facility as well. So if I order food from you today, I can just go on and say food was cold, wasn't happy with it, and I get an automatic refund. And I think that's the world we're in now. People are watching the pennies a little bit more, and people are just getting refunds. So myself and Kim was going through our back office yesterday for the other company. We had one customer done it 7 times in the last month. He's just ordering food, 40, 50 quid a time, and then he's doing a clawback on his bank because it's a Monzo account or whatever it is, and they don't question it. And he's been able to do that 4 or 5 times. But not only is the takeaway losing the money, I'm then getting charged as a company for the clawbacks. So that him doing that cost me about £150 yesterday, and it's cost the takeaways the loss in the food and the expense of it. So I think
I have to agree with you there. That's one thing I hate.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear that. Yeah, I'm just about to step onto the Uber ladder.
Welcome aboard.
Stay away.
This is it. I've tried to stay away, but I think, like you say, the world is a changing place, and there is a segment in the market that wants that type of service. My sort of view on what what you're proposing is, I think it's about culture and community, isn't it? You know, fish and chip shops have always been the pillar stone of the community, and it's how do we reignite that in our communities, because our communities are quite sporadic, and there's lots of different sort of areas and cultures in our communities now, and it's how do we get people to feel like they're part of it, part of the shop or the experience. I think that's probably one of the ways I would look at it. And I think that people who come into the chip shop, they're like anti-Uber. That's how they feel. I get a lot of older people, and they probably don't even know what Uber is. They probably just think it's a taxi service. But I think that's a way forward. And also making it as simple as possible when you get to the takeaway. Making it as easy as possible for people to just come in, get what they want and go. And what's changed in my career is that, when I first started fish and chips, I'd have 6 or 7 fish ready and 20 sausages and some fish cakes and some pies. And it was pretty quick. Yeah. But everything's cooked to order now. And it's just part of how we do things, I think. I think most people would agree with that. And that does actually slow service down a bit because you get people waiting. And it's how can we make it simple and quick to get customers in and out, and how can we create that sort of vibe around the chip shop as being, I want to go to the chip shop, there's a conversation to be had, or I see somebody the same person every week, and there's that vibe that we can create.
Yeah, I've got a few notes on that to discuss.
How about you, Jem? Are you on any of these aggregators?
I think us in Mid Wales here have got a very different aspect to all this. So we're March 2026 now, so 6 years ago, everything changed for the world of takeaways. We were doing phone orders because we didn't have an online ordering system. 4 months later, we installed an online ordering system, and we were the first takeaway. We've got 6 takeaways in our town. We were the first takeaway to have that online ordering system inputted. And still to this day, we are the only takeaway that have got an online ordering system that take card. The other takeaway that does it has a cash only and is known for your order will be ready in 15 minutes. They're stood there for half an hour, 45 minutes, still waiting for their order. So we've got an advantage over you guys, really. We don't need to put Just Eat, Uber Eats in. We don't even have a taxi in this taxi service in this town, so we've got a massive advantage. However, there's the flip side to it is that online presence. How many people, we're very touristy area, so how many people come from like cities like Cardiff, Birmingham, Manchester to visit us, pick up their Uber Eats app and go, oh, the nearest is Aberystwyth, which is 30 minutes away. Are we losing those customers to them travelling to Aberystwyth because people will travel for food, especially if it's looking good on their app? Or we need to get that customer, but we need to get that online presence to grab those customers. So it's a very different footfall for us. Like we look at getting customers through the door in a very different way to you guys probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that a little bit. In the Valley store, it's a lot of caravan parks, and they use the click and collect.
Yeah,
you know, their orders are massive on there. And I know what you're saying. You have to have a presence, don't you?
Yeah.
Because there are people that come from the cities who are used to these sort of things.
I think the online ordering, though, for us is so different. Like 40% of Topshop trade is online orders, which is great. And we just managed to wangle that the fees are the same all throughout every order now, takeaway or online, which is really good for us. So we're making a saving that way. But the flip side is we put a new POS system in. So we're now at the beginning of the tourist season where people are looking out for the old POS system. So we've got to get that customer through the online presence again. But we would rather get them through the door because we want to be a community shop. We want to engage with the customer. We don't want to just be a grab your bag and go kind of business either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned community a couple of times now. I think Danny mentioned it and Jem, you've mentioned it. And this was the reluctance I had before I went on it. It's because before these aggregators, I optimized for different kind of shops. So with me in Cardiff with Zero Plus, what we optimized was for the long-term value of the relationship with the customer. And that's how we did our brand building. But now it feels as though we're optimizing for the profitability of that one-off transaction. So online, I think our relationship with our customers is definitely going to be different than when they come in. And we love being that community shop, which is why I said we've mentioned community a couple of times. When someone comes in and say, "Oh, Katie, how's the kids? How's Dad? How's it going?" You know, being that having that fish and chip shop vibe. But online, you kind of lose that, and I think once you've lost it, that's why I was reluctant. Is that if I lose those customers, is my fish and chip shop going to be the same in store? So it is a tough decision.
You touched on something good there. Was we changed from that community to being like a profitability. We're all here for one thing at the end of the day, is to make money.
Yeah.
That online presence can bring us more profit and more money because we're enticing the customer with different items through our systems all the time. Why not add this?
Yeah.
Would you like this? Add this for £1.
Yeah.
So that upselling is so much better than what we can do in a shop because we're scripting our staff otherwise in a shop at what to say, and there's nothing engaging and community like that anymore. Like we've just put a new system in, and the till is just a script. They can read off that. We're probably training staff in a different way than we used to. So,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Which I wouldn't say was wrong. I would say that's, it might be scripted, but it's how do we train our guys to make it feel natural? And it doesn't have to be just a script, because once the script is ended, somebody's staring at you on the takeaway, there's opportunity for conversation, isn't there?
Yeah, I think you can definitely still upsell in store. So obviously the digital screens these days, we put our sides on there, little things, onion rings, mozzarella sticks, potato fritters, and they do really work. And obviously display cabinets. Like I know, Jem, I think you've got a counter range in the Top Shop, both shops, both shops. So you've now gone for a wall range. What range have you got, Danny?
I've got I've got 2 wall ranges. Yeah,
wall range. So I tried in your shop, and I like the way of working, but I love a counter range because that is the upselling. Like staff have asked me before, why are we setting the range up in this way? Because you've got dry stuff in there mixed with greasy stuff, etc. I'm like, well, everything I want to sell and I got a markup on is in this top because it's by the counter, and it does work. And we got chicken curries or faggots and things like that. So like you're saying, online is good for upselling, and it is. When it's on your phone, you don't really realise what you're spending. You just, I'll add that. And you click Apple Pay, job done.
Yeah.
And then the next day, you're like, Jesus Christ, that was expensive. But when you're in store, there's a different way of doing it. Like with the screens, the food is selling then, rather than the upselling popping up on your phone and being scripted, like Jemma just said. The food is doing the talking, and I think that's what I really want to emphasize, how the customers come in through the door, really.
But that's when the customer comes through the door, though. Let's go back to the beginning and talk about the choice. So when you talk about when customers choose your shop, I always go back to visibility. Is your shop visible? Are you visible at the decision point? So are you on Google? Are you there? If a student's ordering, is your shop listed on Just Eat or Uber Eats?
Yeah.
They may come in, but are you there? Are you present and visible?
Yeah, I get that.
And that was the other reasons why I went on these aggregators as well. Is that
taking it back to the beginning, it's like I completely get all that, and I agree with it. You need the online well, certain areas it's different, but like just don't try and convince your existing customers which are coming in store to switch. You don't want to end up with a shop. Which I'm using Zoe as an example because he's so close. You see my shop, you see a change, and we're always changing it. We're always improving it. The outside is, you can't drive past my place without going, whoa, what's that? Because it stands out. It's lit up. It looks really modern. It looks nice, and that's what I'm getting at. Is even though that online presence is important, but that's important for a certain amount of people. Whereas my presence, when I'm saying, do you stand out? I don't even know how many cars I got past in my shop a day, but it's like you drive past, go, what's that place? And then the next time, if you drove past it, you're either spinning around to come in, or the next time you pass in, you're popping in.
Yeah.
And I think another thing to add to this is, as an industry and as shops who want to be, so we're all got how many shops between us here now? There's like 6 shops between us. We all want to be the best shop out of those 6. So we're competitive as it is. So the shops out there, to increase your customer footfall, you need to upgrade your shop.
Definitely.
You need to modernise it. You need to move with the times. That's how you're going to get those customers in. So we did the Topshop refurb 10 years ago. It really needed a refurb back then, but it was just like, do we need that? We have customers. The amount of customers that probably were so invested at coming just to have a nosy, but we gained that customer because, wow, that shop's excellent. Whoa, that looks good. So just brushing outside your shop, someone sees you brushing and goes, oh, well done, they're looking after their premises. Like, that's how you can increase your customer footfall.
Yeah, and that also talks to community, doesn't it? You know, you're picking up litter outside your shop, you're brushing outside the pavement, and that you know, with people who are local, who do come in your shop, they see that, and that works wonders. That does.
Yeah, that's what got it.
I mean, being on Agri is quite scary, though. I mean, for those of you who aren't, it's when you see some of the offers that other shops are doing, it does give you a kick up the backside. I was on there last week, and Popeyes had a buy one get one free on a burger, and their burgers were £8, and they're quite chunky. I'd say they were extra large fillets in there for $8.50, and it was buy one get one free. And it's just, I just feel like I can't compete with that.
I don't think you need to.
Is that the actual food that they're selling, or is it that just fake AI content they've made?
No, that's actually on the app. So on Deliveroo, when you flick through Deliveroo, you can see all the shops and what they offer. It was an actual offer, buy one get one free.
It's like McDonald's. They tell you get like this double Whopper meal. You don't. It's rubbish, really. We know that we can create better than that. Yeah?
It's not good for your stress levels. That's what I was trying to say. When you're on these apps, when you compare yourselves, which you naturally do to competitors or other options. But yeah, let's swing it back to Ryan. I think, Ryan, you want to talk more on this topic.
Yeah, I don't think you need to compare yourself. So it's like, for us, I will never compare on price. If someone is charging $6.99 for cod and chips, one, they're not making no money on it. 2, it's going to be poor quality. And 3, that's not my customer that my customers go for. My customers come to us for the quality of the food. And I'll be honest, they don't even ask about the price. They know they come into us, they're getting good quality. They know they're going to go away with a consistent meal every time. And I know each area is different, but it's not, I really don't worry about that. There's shops popping up left, right and centre around me. Do they last?
Yeah,
no, because they're thinking about price rather than quality.
Yeah, what does Simon Sinek say? He talks about the finite and the infinite game. You know, when you price yourself out the market and you're cheap, you're not going to last very long. And I think, Zoe, you talked to just a second ago about longevity and you know, being being in the game for a long time. And I think that's what we're all trying to do. And trying to compete against people is not that you've got to do your own thing, your own way, and then your people will follow you. I think.
No, I was just speaking in general in terms of the options out there, especially in Cardiff, when you've probably got about 50 restaurants in a 2-mile radius, and the options that are available to customers and the offers that they see. I just wanted to put across how stressful it can be, the competition.
No, I get that.
Yeah. I mean, but that's natural, isn't it? It's natural to look at others and think, oh, how are they doing that? I think my sister came down to South Wales and she went to a little fish and chip shop and she paid £5 for a piece of fish. I was saying, how are they making any money? Where are they buying their fish from? And this is only a few weeks ago.
I had a customer on Monday, so with the bottom shop, you can see the restaurant next door. So he's like, "Oh, can we go and sit next door?" Well, we charge more, and I was like, "Yeah, you can go and sit next door, but we'll have to charge you more." And he goes, "You know how to make money, don't you?" He goes, "Where I'm from, fish and chips is only £6." So I just went, "Good food pays. What size fish and chips do you get?" And he didn't answer me, and he just went, "Oh, it is good though, isn't it?" That's what I wanted. Yeah, I'm selling good food.
Absolutely.
But I can see in your side, so you have so much competition against you. You're flooded down there. You want to stand out on the app, but you're not going to stand out on those aggregators because it's just how much of it is fake as well to people. And people will realise that eventually. They'll go, "Oh, but we didn't have poor food in Zohab's. We didn't have poor food in Zohab's. Oh, we went to Bob's down the road and it was rubbish." It's hard because you've got to have that confidence.
I always try and give the best product possible, and I don't generally get drawn into price comparisons. Anyone on that will know what I'm talking about because you have a general flick through. You know what kind of shops and what kind of prices. You can search for items. So it's good in that respect, in a very select comparison to where you stand in the market. I'll tell you one thing that I love about the apps, and that's Deliveroo, Uber Eats, and that is their back of house management and their KPIs and their data recording. I mean, Ryan, does yours have any of this data tracked on yours?
Yeah. So obviously we can see all that. Like you just discussed about Just Eat, it is good. It was sort of like Spotify this year. At the end of the year, it showed you your sales, your average spend, customers reordering. Yeah. That was good. It done your full year in a timeline. But our repost systems also do that as well. So do you know what I mean? I can log in year now and see what was going on this time 2 years ago and what customer habits have changed. We've just got to log in and look for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to close on this topic, really, obviously getting customers through the door, and then we'll move on to some of your topics. Just basics, really. So I know, obviously, I'm using Joe again because obviously we are close and we do see it. So
let's all use my shop as an example.
No, not so much your shop, so, but obviously just because you can relate with this, you've seen it. So
yeah,
touching on what we discussed earlier, getting customers through the door. There's always something going on at my shop. So it's had new fences, it's had new lighting, and it's always changing. So when people are driving past, it's clean, it's presentable, it's got flower beds, it looks enticing, it brings people in. Even the basics like Jemma just discussed, the front is jet washed every day, the windows are cleaned every day. The amount of shops, not just fish and chip shops, all sorts of takeaways, you go past and it's like, just looks worn, the windows are dirty, and it just doesn't look inviting. Moving on then, factories. So I am fortunate enough, I'm saturated in a big industrial area. So I've got loads of factories, loads of schools, loads of offices and pubs. So for me, it's about working with them. So the pubs, they purchase food off us at a discounted price at the end of the night. That's giving something to the community because they're getting extremely cheap. Then people then in that Skittles team or pool team, rugby team, they are trying the food, realising it's nice. They've not come to us before. Some of them will be away players. They will then travel to us and buy food. So that's a way of basically free marketing. They're getting a reduced meal and they're obviously fetching the trade back. To touch on the factories, when we first opened the shop, we visited all the factories. We give them cards for 15% off, I think it was at the time. I'll be honest, I couldn't afford to do that now, but this was going back 7 years ago. We still to this day, we get really, really large orders off them. So we've got money going in the till before the door even opens in the morning because we are feeding the workers in them factories. They start work at 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning. They take break by 11:30. We can get an order out to 50, 60 people before the door even opens. So I think that is really important. And I know I'm fortunate that all that's in the area, but if you've got that in your area, work with them. Don't just rely on them coming to you. go and visit them, give them some samples of your food, offer them a discount and try and get their orders into your shop rather than someone else's, or splitting the orders up and going on Just Eat and ordering from different places. Customer experience in store. So customer service is important. We want to make people feel welcome, feel part of the shop, have a chat with them. We've then got pages, which we put in place during COVID, and we've kept them. So we know now a customer comes into the shop, they place their order with the person on the till, they pay for their order, we take everything on their order. So we'll ask if they want salt and vinegar, if they want a bag, what's wrapped with what, if it's boxed, packaged, etc. So there's only 2 points of contact with our customer. Customer comes into the shop, we aim to get that customer acknowledged within 20 to 25 seconds. So whether that's the person on the till or the fryer will acknowledge them. Hiya, how are you doing? How's your day? Would you like any fish in the fryer? That's the first point of contact. The second point of contact then will be placing their order, and they'll be given a pager. So when that pager goes off, all they got to do is collect their food. Whereas previously we were shouting out fish, chips, sausage, curry, and people would come in and taking bags, and it's like
taking the wrong bag.
Yeah, it's just carnage. It's especially on a Friday night, you've got 30 people in the shop, 20 people outside, and all the staff are just screaming, and it's just like, it's really, really not professional. And I didn't realize that, to be honest, because it's the way I've always worked until we put the pages in, and just things just run so much smoother, more professional. And even now customers to say, oh, this is really good. And it's like, yeah, it's just a pager off Amazon, but it's really effective. And then on top of that is just making the shop a comfortable environment, make it look really nice, make it comfortable to wait in, create the distractions for the customers who are waiting. So we've got music playing, we've got the customer screens on, there's a lot going on in the shop. So they, rather than sitting there for 6.5 minutes waiting on the fish, it feels like 3 because they distracted in other areas. And yeah, that's it really. It's just basics. I just wanted to discuss really about obviously keeping our customer coming in the shop and versus switching to online. And it's just the basics, making sure your staff are in uniform, they're presentable, they give the customer a good experience, and they trained correctly, rather than just going in and next they place their order and it's just sort of thrown at them. It's still be a fish and chip shop, but giving it a higher end rather than just your average takeaway where people come in, they get their food and they chucked out sort of thing. We want them in and out as fast as we can, but we want them to be made to feel like they belong there. Yeah. So when we are serving that customer, our time is on them, not 4 or 5 people down the queue. And this is what we say to our staff: when you're serving a customer, don't look at the queue, because you get flustered. You get, oh my God, the queue's out the door. There's loads of people outside. The queue's on the ramp. It's on the pavement. It's a distraction, and then the service slips. So just once you've got that customer in front of you, deal with that customer. Then once you've given them the service they should have, move on to the next. So yeah, that's basically my topic, guys. It's not nothing complicated or fancy. It's just basically keeping things basic.
It's good to talk about it. Yeah.
When you talked about uniform, there's still shops that I see that are not uniformed, and I go into them and I just think, what is going on? This is not a professionally run business. It's crazy that we're still talking about uniform. It's 2026 and some shops still don't have presentable professional uniform in their premises.
I've got staff, so as a boss, I think I'm pretty chilled and laid back, but then obviously that's if things are done the correct way. You know what I'm like. I am pretty OCD with things, and I like everything to be perfect, or I like things to be perfect. But like last year, I had staff come in hoodies, and I'm like, guys, what are you doing? It looks really bad. And I'm like, you can't be wearing that. And then they'd come up with, oh, I'm cold. I'm like, right, okay. So I went and bought a load of branded jumpers so they can put on under their aprons and T-shirts, etc. And then you get someone else come in a hoodie and, I am washed in. It's like, well, you've got 4 sets. You work 3 days a week. But yeah, your uniform, I think, is extremely important. You've spent all the money on making that shop look really, really smart and attractive. Your branding is brilliant. Your customer service, and then you're being served by someone in a scruffy pair of jeans and a pink hoodie. It's not. It just looks like they don't belong there. Even if I pop in, I'm not working. I'm just popping into the shop. I don't want to be stood behind that counter in normal clothes. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be. I mean, it's so cheap as well. Uniform now. I always say like a business is an extension of someone's personality. So if you go in there and everything's messy, they're not branded, no one's got proper uniform on. I think that's how people think that's how your business is run.
Mm.
You're gonna laugh at this. I actually went and bought branded Crocs yesterday.
Oh, you didn't? What?
Yeah,
Ship deck
so
Crocs?
all the staff wear Crocs, and to be fair, they're brilliant for work. You're on your feet all day. They're nice and soft on your feet, and you can just
Yeah,
walk.
we got them as
But
well.
they've
Yeah.
all started wearing these charms now. So some people have got like fish charms and other things that like they like. And don't get me wrong, they cheesy, they're awful. But I thought, I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon and I'm going to get some branded Crocs. So I got them yesterday.
That sounds really interesting. Where did you get those done?
There's a Croc shop in MacArthur Glen. I just got the charms done online then.
Right.
We just gone through a whole like uniform like campaign. I was like the same as you, Ryan, just fed up of seeing like and hearing the same old excuses. And I thought, well, if you were a nurse, you'd have been sacked by now.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's how I approached it. So, and the same with the hair. Hair was a big problem. So I did the hairnet threat and I said, we'll put all hair back in nets. And now I just get everyone uniform. I ask them all to do the same hairstyle. We've got matching scrunchies for the girls. And it's just worked. Everybody looks clean, tidy. And we're on it. And it was one of these things that you feel it, you're on the case all the time. But like I said, if I was a manager nurse, then I would be on my staff's case. I'd be sending them home. So that's what I did to them. I said, well, I'm sending you home. You're not getting paid. And I'll do without the staff. And then the others then go, oh, I can't believe you didn't come in the right uniform and you got sent home. We were well busy. Yeah, well, there we go. So it just started consistency and being uniform.
And like you just used the nurse as an example, but which is a good example, but even Tesco's, McDonald's, Asda's, you couldn't turn up without uniform. And they just, I think, because it's just a fish and chip shop to them, or they just don't see the harm in it. I'm like, it really doesn't look good. Yeah, it's one of my bugbears.
I'm a bit wary of time, so we'll move over to the next topic, which is Jemma. Jemma, do you want to introduce your topic?
Yeah, so I think my topic is a bit of a touching. We can branch off what we've just discussed, but it's why digital asset management is important for building not just a fish and chip shop, but a small business. So I think maybe a lot of you might think it sounds a bit like corporation-y, but it's just really vital for a small business these days. Content is so important to be the shop that's out there. Aggregators are a classic example of why we need a large amount of content. So we need to learn to organise it, store it, and get hold of it fast, easy, to just be the best of the best. It helps us save a lot of time. It protects our business, creates consistency for our brand. And also having good content and having a good place of it being stored, it reduces a large amount of cost. I worked with a corporation before and digital asset management was one of my projects. And for a corporation, their output of the way their assets were stored was so poor. Marketeers did not know how to get hold of new content, old content, but that content was vital for the future of the business. A couple of good food chain examples. McDonald's, their content is second to none. They're a corporation that's franchised out, but all the franchisees can get hold of that content in one storage hub. Greg's is just another one that's it just takes it. We all want to be like Greg's. We all want to have a brilliant app, brilliant digital channels.
Greg's are in trouble.
And then a poorer probably content is someone like Wetherspoons. They're on a different side of a chain where they're not about the content, they're not about the digital channels, they're just about utility. They want price, volume, and the customers through the door. So yeah, I just wanted to see what your opinions of having digital asset management. Did you think it's vital for your business or not?
Danny, what do you think?
I think in this day and age it is. I think it's like anything, we went from pegboards, black pegboards with white writing, to then backlit illuminated boards to photos. It's just a progression, I think. And with the cost of a digital TV being quite inexpensive now, why wouldn't you want to have really nice images of your food displayed for your customers? I just think it's just the next step. I think we've got them, and a lot of the people in our area have got them, but a lot of people haven't. And there must be an impact because people buy with their eyes, don't they? I mean, it's like the wall range and the counter range. If you can see food in the box, it makes you want to buy it.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with digital management. And that's basically what digital management, digital assets are. It's instead of having your your counter range, you're having it right in front of your customer on the wall. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's a need, a must in a lot of businesses now for us to be, professional and comprehensive in the way we do things. Like the McDonald's sort of the way, KFC, Greg's, like you talked about. It's not we've got to compete with these people, but we've got to show our presence like these guys do, and I think it's important. Yeah.
Ryan, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important. I'll be honest, you can even go down the route of like TikTok, which is really thing now. We've seen it with shops in our industry. A shop can go from they can just blow up overnight just from one TikTok. Now, I'll admit I'm not very good at it. I've never even used it. I'm only 32, but in this sort of category, I'm about 65. So I'm really not very good at it. But to touch, so fingers crossed, my kids will slowly start taking into that. And times change, just like you now, Jem. Obviously, you were stepping in on modern things where your parents are not, and obviously your children then will probably modernize it a bit more. So it's almost like we get things change before our time, really, and then it takes the next generation to come in and keep that going. But yeah, we've definitely got to adapt to it, and it is important. Just to touch on it, Jem, like obviously we just said about the Wetherspoons, but I think that's a really good example. So you said Wetherspoons concentrate on getting the volume, cheap prices, and getting the volume through the door. But I think what's really clever with Wetherspoons, they actually done table service. So I don't know if you've seen this. You could be in Wetherspoons tonight now, Jem, pop on your Facebook. I'm out with my friends, a couple of drinks, and people order it. And they send these to random people. So there's actually a Facebook page where you can go on to it's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So you can actually go onto this Facebook page. Random people will put on there saying, I'm out with
buy me
friends.
A drink.
We drinking tonight. Yeah, we're drinking X, Y, and Z, buy me a drink. But people do it. Yeah. But people do it. But that when you think about the upselling and the online presence, you've got people in a different country buying drinks for someone they've never met. And then even random stuff, they send in pots of peas to the table and pots of milk. But the Wetherspoons probably happy with that because they're probably making a good profit on peas, and they're selling 80 portions of peas one night in a pub, which is just being bought for random people. So can you imagine fetching that into our shop and saying you can buy anyone food online when you're in a different country just for the fun of it? Your tails will be ringing all night.
Yeah,
and the Wetherspoons is crazy. It's crazy how it actually works, but people do it. They just order in for people they've never met, and I think that's really clever, really, that people are spending money in that pub when they could be 300 miles away from it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think I've got to agree with Jem as well. It's just in this day and age, asset management. I couldn't get my words out then. Asset management is, if you're starting off a business now, the cost of creating your own asset managed library or album is peanuts. Even if you're on the aggregators, they send you a photographer. This is what they do. So Uber Eats set their own photographer and Deliveroo set their own photographer as well, just to get you on the app. But I think that's one of their marketing clauses that, come with us and we'll showcase your products for you. But what you don't realize is that if Uber do it, they keep those assets. And then if Deliveroo do it, they keep those assets. So what we did was that when we first opened up, I knew one of the Wales online photographers. So he came down, we did a 2 or 3 hour session, cooked every product, put them on the table with our branded greaseproof, just to make sure that no one else can nick them. I think I see a lot of the pictures online now. They've taken them from one shop and put them somewhere else. Sometimes you see them on the Facebook groups as well, saying someone's pinched my picture. So we were conscious of having our greaseproof underneath it saying 0+, so that no one could. Theoretically, someone could still pinch it and go to Photoshop and do it, but it's going to be a lot of hard work for them to pinch my pictures, and it's peanuts. It's a 2-3 hour session and you have all of those assets. And what it means as well is that when you're ready to do some kind of marketing or promotion, you've got those assets ready. You can go straight away. You don't have to go back, right, I need to take this picture or I need to create an image.
Content is vital. Content is so vital. Like, you go to plan a wedding these days, you get a photographer. Like, going back when my mum and dad got married, they had a photographer. Now you have a photographer, videographer, and social content, because people want to store that content, and you get like images that are not seen from the social. It's mad that there is a job being created for content creation, but we all do it. We all create content. We all pick up our phone and take a photo or something. Like, I'm happy with the food I produce all the time. But sometimes I'm like, that looks excellent. I want to take a photo of it because that is vital. That has cost me 20 seconds, but I could put that on social media and I would get 5 people coming in that night and ordering scampi who I wouldn't necessarily have had. So taking photos of our food, like, it's the real product. We're creating a process of, we've got that content. It's drawing people in and it's built trust and it helps you promote your food. So they're just 4 areas that we can focus on by just picking up our mobile phone, but storing that in the right way so we can use it in 6 months' time and 7 months' time is vital.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
And I think that's what pictures do. It invokes trust in a product and a brand. What would you say was more important, asset management or brand building?
Ooh.
They go together, don't they?
If you had a fresh shop right now and you were starting off from scratch, what would you do first?
Asset management, because it's cheaper to do. Because you can pick up your phone and do it. Building a brand costs a lot of money, and you can build your brand with the content that you've created. So like, I could go to a marketing company, build a brand, but the content that I'm creating doesn't necessarily coincide with the brand that I've designed.
Yeah.
So when we had a whole new rebrand, that rebrand was designed about what my mum and dad had built like over those 30 years.
Yeah.
There was branding that was designed. We had like 4 different options, and a couple of them were very like David Hennighan heavy. They were not very traditional, not changed at all. And he went for the newer version. We were like, whoa, because he knew he had to change.
Yeah.
So
the reason I asked that is because I'm going back to the beginning when I first started out in the industry, and I didn't have an asset management library. In fact, I used to do what you do. If I saw something, I took a picture of it or saved it, and I thought, oh yeah, let's try and emulate that somehow.
And then scroll through your phone then.
Yeah, you keep them in an album. I'm sure a lot of you do the same, or the listeners listening will understand what I'm saying. Back then, because I didn't have an asset management library, I only had brand building. I had to create the brand first, and then obviously when I refurbished, I could then use those assets effectively. But I think, Jemma, your mum and dad would have been in the same position where they brand build it first and then the asset management came afterwards.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But it's funny how nowadays it would be the other way around. It would, what brand building would probably coincide with it somehow, with the trust of pictures.
To me, having a content day, because we've got 2 shops, every 12 months would be vital for our business. Because if we spent £2,000 on a content day and we got 100 photos and videos, the return on those photos and videos for social media is nothing really. It's cost us £20 a photo, £20 a video. So we've got 100. That's 2 a week.
Yeah.
We're going to gain that £20 back in no time.
I'll tell you what I did. This happened off the back of the marketing exercise, the marketing day that Ceres put on for the National Fish and Chip Awards. I think it was 2024. So I think they had a marketing expert, and they said, "Oh, just get a little light box."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So I went on Amazon, saw like a light box, and now I just take a picture of myself in a light box, and there's got LED lights in there. It lights up the fish and chips perfectly. So now I don't even pay the photographer. So now it doesn't cost me anything.
That's because you can create your own content. This is where the world we live in now is. We can learn how to do it ourselves. That's what TikTok does.
Yeah. I mean, TikTok. I think TikTok is one sector that I feel as though I need to grow in. I'm a bit like Ryan as well, where I know it exists, but I'm reluctant to step on it. Yeah. And it's just because this happened with Facebook and Instagram. You just feel as though there's always going to be a new app that, okay, let's just say I get used to TikTok. There's going to be another app in 5 years' time or something.
I think the difficulty when we're talking about the apps is, we've got Facebook, Instagram, now we've got TikTok. I mean, I'm not on TikTok. Well, I say I'm not on. We have an account. I don't use it though. But it's like, if you're a person using these platforms, you generally go to one platform, don't you? Somebody will be an Instagram, or somebody will be a Facebook person, or somebody will be a TikToker. But when you're in a business, you have to be a master of all 3. But the time it takes, I mean, just creating content and asset management, taking photos, it might be a 2-minute job, but, I don't know about you, but I might want to just adjust them, or, crop them to the right size and all these little things that I might want to do to them. And then you've got to post them on 3 platforms. It's difficult. I think for me, it's about I'm choosing 1 or 2 of the ones I think my customers are looking at and just going with that.
TikTok for me is still, like I said earlier, I haven't got involved in it, but the videos I do see, you're not targeting the audience you want to target with TikTok unless you're sharing it on other platforms. It's going everywhere. But like I said earlier, if it blows up, then your shops gets the highlight, gets the attention for it. But I think with TikTok as well, I do see a lot of negative in the comments, and okay. I know it's not something to worry about really, because we know what we're doing is good. But if there is a potential customer on there and sees all the negative, whether it's regarding your oil or someone's not wearing gloves or someone shouldn't have that apron on, there's always a lot of negative on TikTok. But just to brush on what you said, now again, this is something I'm not good at, but for the other company, Kim uses ChatGPT. So the other company is an online aggregator, but it's an awful lot of marketing. So Kim used to sit in the office for hours and hours, putting videos together, scheduling them for Facebook, Instagram, etc. Whereas now she just logs into ChatGPT, tells you what to do, and it's done and scheduled for the full week in a matter of. It saved her hours and hours and hours. So I think that's another thing. Like with technology, ChatGPT now is sort of taking over on that side. So whereas Zoe said he hasn't got to pay a photographer anymore, you also haven't got to pay someone to do all that stuff and schedule it. Like when I first started, I used to pay someone to run all my social medias and my marketing and everything.
I do still.
Whereas you could literally, not to take that person out of a job, Danny, but you could literally log into ChatGPT, tell you what to do, tell you when to schedule it, and it's done within seconds for the full week. Go on, Jem.
That was a question I was going to tie into this, is would we get a better return on investment employing a content creator or a front of house staff?
Ooh, interesting.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I would say you're going to get a better return on the content creator if they're doing their job to a really good standard. But then you can also, like I just discussed there, you can also cut that person out or minimize that person just by using ChatGPT or using the technology we've got these days like Canva. But I do think a content creator is going to give you a better revenue than someone front of house.
I'd say it depends on the type of shop.
Yeah.
If you've got a more traditional shop and a community-led shop, then front of house may bring in more revenue. But the emergence of content creation and these social media apps, you can never discount it. I mean, we touched on ChatGPT. How far do we think AI can have an effect on our industry?
I don't like it.
How far do you think AI can go?
I saw an interesting question with ChatGPT. When are we going to get the first legal case of saying ChatGPT spent all my money?
Yeah.
I was like, wow. That's how far it's taken us. Like it can buy items for us and go on Amazon and buy things for us.
Crimes, I've not asked it to do that yet. I don't trust it that much. But yeah, it could spend all your money, couldn't it? Yeah.
And we're easily led because we're in a trap where it's a global app that everybody is using, and we're in that trap. We've got trust in it already, and it's just crazy how we've allowed something to take over our lives. I try and avoid use it at all costs because I think it's going to change the way that I've sell my business and my food to my customers. It's bringing in a whole different customer avenue that I don't really need at the moment.
I think it's about training though, isn't it?
But like Ryan said, he uses it in marketing, and I use it every now and then for ideas. I think it's part of our lives that it's going to stay, especially the next generation as well. Their lives are going to get easier using it. But do we think it's going to affect our industry? Do we think operationally, manually? Do you think yes, Jem? Go on. How do you think AI is going to penetrate us?
I saw an advert of a very good fish and chip shop in our industry yesterday looking for delivery drivers, and it was such an AI'd poster graphic.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have such a good, strong brand, and that whole image for me has just changed. Like it's not laziness, but it's just like it's just changed the whole element for me of how I look at it now. I'm like, wow, that like their brand was so good, and it's changed the look of their brand overnight by one graphic to me. You can tell which. I think if you're someone who's really into marketing and creating and trying to be a bit consistent, like I'm not saying that we're excellent, but I know we're not poor either. But ChatGPT can just change it overnight for you, and I don't like that part.
Yeah, it's interesting when we talk about AI and branding and front of house people. I constantly ask myself, is branding better? How far can AI go? Am I using AI correctly? Because I don't even know myself the limits to where AI can go. It seems like every day it's changing.
It's definitely changing, but I don't think it's going to affect our industry in terms of like I just discussed. If you're working in marketing, it's going to affect your industry massively, because these small independent businesses or even big businesses, they're going to start using it. And there's going to be less jobs there because there's less people requiring your services. But at least for us, we never, touch wood, you never know what's on the corner, but you will never have something which can replace us standing there cooking fish and chips and giving a service.
I think it will take graphic design out of the equation. So instead of hiring someone to do graphics, I think a lot of the people will just type it in, say add my logo, and it'll be done, because it'll be cheap, easy, and it'll be the way that the world works. But I don't think it'll replace hospitality. I think it'll replace the admin. So a lot of the admin work will be done automatically. You just type it in and it will be done, even in CRM or POS systems.
I've been saying for years, someone needs to create an app to create rotas that's free, because creating a rota is time consuming. And maybe ChatGPT can change that for me. The hours it takes, so it's admin. We don't have that time anymore.
If you put in everyone's availability, it can do it. Or if it can't, it'll definitely point you in the right direction.
You've got some there, Jemma. I'm going to write that down to see if I could do that.
And on that note, let's move over to Danny's topic. Danny, tell us what you want to talk about.
So today I want to talk about is what people buy in fish and chip shops. You know, traditionally in our area, cod has been the number one seller. And, you know, most people sort of don't wake up in the morning wanting to save fish stocks. They just want tasty, affordable, you know, food that they feel good about. But my view is if we can give them that and take the pressure off some of the species that are under strain, you know, starting with cod in my area, I think it'll help us in the future. So cod is iconic, but in parts of the world it's in real trouble, even where it's better managed, like the Barents Sea, which is where we get our cod from. And it's declining enough that quotas have been repeatedly cut. So that signal we should really listen to, I think. So it's about, you know, what could we do in our industry to try and promote other species for people to try and eat instead of the ones that are in danger. And that's what I want to really discuss with you guys today.
Yeah. What have you tried, Danny? How have you tried to implement change in your shop?
So we've put pollock on the menu because pollock is one of the fish that birds eye use in their fish fingers, and people just don't realise it. People eat fish fingers all the time. They don't know what type of fish is in there. And I always thought it was a great argument to say, well, you eat it anyway. You just don't know it. And it's about, you know, the quotas have been cut. I think this year, the Russians and the Norwegian sort of scientific community have said, I think the total allowable catch is 285,000 tonnes, which I think is something like the lowest since 1991. And I think it's 16% down on last year. So, you know, if we don't do something about trying to reduce the amount we eat, we're going to be in trouble further down the line. So yeah, pollock is one I've put in place in my shops with some success, you know, and I'm not trying to be underhanded, but we're also using it in other products like fish cakes, and we're just talking about white fish. You know, people still buy the fish cakes, they still love the fish cakes, and it's a no-brainer for me. I mean, I did have a conversation with a lady in the takeaway just last week, and she was staunch cod. I will buy cod until it runs out, she said. And people are going to feel that way. I can't stop that, but it doesn't stop me from saying, well, okay, we do have another alternative though. It's just as good as cod. It tastes very similar to cod. You know, there are differences. We all know that. Haddock, cod, pollock, whiting, safe, coley, you know, they're all a little bit different. But do people care that much? You know, do people realise what they're eating? You know, have you accidentally served somebody another fish before and they haven't even noticed.
Yeah, Ryan, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, so I think you just said something really important there. Obviously, when you describe pollock, you said you eat the fish fingers, but you don't know what's in it. And I think that's the issue we are up against.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sell, and I'm sure all of us here and most people in the industry are not going to sell something and say something else. We just can't do that. But if I put a sign on my range, and I do it, if I put a sign on the TV screens or on the range, hake and chips with mushy peas tartar sauce, $8.99, or the cod and chips, which is $12.99, people still go for the cod. But if I change that word into fish chips, mushy peas tartar sauce for $8.99, they'd buy it.
Exactly.
It's just because it's what they used to. Now, there's some really good species out there, like you've got your pollock, your saithe, your haddock. There's lots of alternatives, and hake's a really good fish. Pollock's a really good fish. Saithe's a really good fish. But then, because we're in a cod area, I even struggle to try and sell the haddock.
Yeah.
So we sell a fair bit of haddock each week, but it's to the same customers. Yeah. If you're coming in for the cod, you leave in with the cod. You're not going to go for the haddock, even though it's a really good fish, and that's just as expensive anyway. But we've definitely got to change and get some different species on the menu. But I think we got to find the right balance of, we don't want to drop in quality.
No.
Like not to diss saithe. I think it's a really good fish. But where the skin was, you've got the tissue underneath, which is grey. Now, if I cut that tissue away, if I cut where the skin was away, so I skin it deeper, it'll fry nice and white. But then if I was to do that with every fillet, one, it's going to take a lot of labour expense, and two, it's going to create a lot of waste. So technically, I'm going to be paying the same price as cod. So I've tried quite a few different species of fish. I've tasted them. I've given them to my staff. I've given some samples to customers, and they've all said it's great. But then if a customer comes in and I say, well, I've got halibut or I've got saithe for X amount of price, and I'll stick to cod. I think that's the challenge we're at. And like for me, I think for most of us on this podcast is cod. We're predominantly cod sellers. Yeah. But for you go up to Scotland, for example, they're probably in the same situation, just trying to sell cod when to haddock customers.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main challenge for our industry. And pubs and restaurants have got away with it for years. You go into a pub or a restaurant, you see fish and chips, you buy it, you don't ask no questions.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it?
You also pay a high price for it. But you come into a fish and chip shop and it says cod on the menu with other species, they'll just come to the till and say, can I get fish and chips? And then when they walk away then with a pager, they'll go, oh, is it cod? And I think, I wouldn't say we're at fault, but we advertised for years that today's fish is off this trawler and it's caught in these waters and it's cod. And then it sort of trained our customers to always look for that. And then when there's something else on offer, they're dead against it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest challenge we have is renaming the different species. They just look for what they know.
I think that's right, and I think you're correct. And I was just trying to sort of be curious about what other ways we could promote it or not promote it, or making cod a special occasions fish instead of the default.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily we're eating too much. It's just there's also environmental and ecosystem problems that are in the Barents Sea. So caplin is foraging what cod eat. So that's not helping matters. So it's compounding the issue. And it's not about trying to scare people. It's just trying to make them understand that, if we carry on, they're never going to go extinct because cods are all around the world. But in certain areas, it could get so bad that we're going to have to charge more for it in the future, because we're all going to be scrapping over it.
We're already charging more now, aren't we? And it's,
Well, exactly, And how difficult is it?
It is difficult.
I found it quite difficult as well. So last year we tried saithe. Again, lovely fish, lovely flavour. But once you bite into it, it's a little bit grey. They call it grey cod, and it's that layer that you can't get rid of. We tried really hard. We tried giving samples out. We tried recording them. If you go on our Instagram, you can see that we recorded people trying it, saying, oh, yeah, it's nice, trying to entice customers to order it and try it. But we always found they'll try it once, but then the following week, just go back to their usual cod or haddock. Haddock's been a good seller for us. Haddock, since we did our rebrand, a lot of people, we've managed to move over to the haddock, which is a lovely flavour. And again, I try and do something different in my area. So if no one else is doing it, I'll do it. So no one else sells haddock. So that was one of the reasons why we started haddock. And it's been a really good seller for us. luckily, just as the cod price was going up. But I do understand what you're saying. It is really hard to get people to buy it on a regular basis. I think all we can do is try the species, keep going at it, because it's going to be with us for a while. I mean, now I'm paying $3.15 for a block of cod. It seems as though it's not going to come down anytime soon. But I remember when I was in Norway, when we went away and we went on the trawler, the scientists did say that it comes in cycles. So I'm not too worried that it's going to stay with us for the next decade.
Cod grows very quickly, and but if you left it for like 3 or 4 years, cod would be back to plentiful within that short amount of time. I would suggest. I read the book called Cod about John Cabot, going over to Newfoundland to the Grand Banks and fishing cod, and it talks in that about World War II, and because people weren't fishing during the war, cod became so plentiful. So it's a fish that will grow quickly, and it can come back, and like you say, cycles. It's just at the moment, it doesn't look so good, because also the world is changing. Our ecosystems are changing. We talk about global warming and all those sorts of things, and I don't want to harp on about that, but we've got to understand that they are factors in cod's lives.
Well, I was going to touch upon what Ryan said, and I think that's really interesting, is that when people come into a fish and chip shop, they expect cod. I want to kind of flip this on his head and say, is it our fault as fish and chip shop owners that for 160 years, when they've come in, we've offered them cod or cod and haddock? Not many, let's be honest, a lot of fish and chip shops don't have a lot of species on their menu. Some of them just up until recently had cod. So are we at fault? Are we as owners at fault for doing this over 160 years?
I wouldn't say we're at fault. It's the same as if you go into a restaurant to order chicken, you're not going to buy pork. You want chicken. And I think it's the same sort of thing. It's in people's mind. But like, you go back years and years and years ago, so my area would have been hake. Whereas now no one wants hake, they want cod. So that proves that it can be changed.
Yeah.
But it'll be over generations, though. I mean, we're trying to implement drastic change in a short space of time.
Yeah, I don't think this is a short-term answer. This is a long-term answer. But I think you're right. We have been selling these species for numbers of years, and we are, as shops, we are trying different things. I just think it's about trying to keep that momentum going. Cod is a cultural favourite, but the science in the Barents Sea stock has fallen below thresholds, and it's telling us that, we have to cut quotas. And it's about encouraging people to try fish like pollock, but it's not about deprivation. It's about keeping great seafood on plates long term.
I think something that's really important, like we're discussing here, is customer behaviour. Customers don't like change, and they won't change their behaviour. We're asking them to change their whole takeaway personality. But we can kind of navigate this in a clever way by changing the way we style our menus, finding out what are the key points that a customer looks at when they look at a menu. They don't look at a menu and read it all, they scan. But they come in for fish and chips. So really, they know no different whether it's... A lot of people won't know any different whether it's cod, hake, pollock, haddock. That's a large amount of people. The minority will know because they're like avid fish eaters. They know their fish really well. We know as a nation, not enough people eat fish or are introduced to fish early on in life. So we can change that mindset of, like you said, put in fish and chips on the menu, and then is that cod, haddock or hake? But there's psychology behind, like, they always go and choose the middle option. People don't like to go and choose the cheaper option. They like to choose the middle option. They're not going to choose the high end. There are people that will choose the high end, which is probably good for us in terms of we can put our profit margin better on the higher end ones. We're not going to sell a lot of it. But like we said, trust is vital for small fish and chip shops. So we need our staff to make our customers feel that they've made the right choice. So saying, our chef's favourite today, well, it's not a chef, our frier's favourite this week is hake. Our frier's did something really nice with the hake this week, or pollock this week. We're serving it with tartar sauce for free. The tartar sauces cost us pence, but if they're going to get free tartar sauce with a pollock and not with a cod, they'll go for something for free.
Yeah, I think menu language and the way it's presented on a menu is definitely key. Using different language like, chef's white fish or seasonal catch or today's best white fish maybe. And like you say, offering something as an extra for free. I think there are ways of doing it and changing people's minds. If we all sort of do the same sorts of things, then we can get momentum and change stuff.
To be fair, I think you just made a good point there though, Jem, because you say about obviously the way the menu is laid out. And I've struggled to sell different species, but then you made a valid point, because the first thing you see when I walk in my shop is cod on the menu. Yeah. So maybe I need to put cod further down the screen and put some haddock and saithe and things up the top.
I did an interesting thing on our old online ordering system. We can't do it on this one, or I haven't figured out how to do it because it's compatible with the till now. But I used to move the sections. So say fish was at the top, then it was chips, and then burger, then gluten-free. I used to move the kids' options before the burgers, or move the sausages section just under the fish, or sides under the fish.
If people got a look.
Yeah, and then people go, the gluten-free's not on there this week. Yeah, it is at the bottom. They've not gone looking. People won't look for things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, that.
So moving our menu boards around is really important.
Yeah.
I liked what you said about the free item as well. I've never thought about that. Maybe just giving a free sauce with the...
Cost us pence to make things like that.
We normally do packaged fish as meals. We've got a single price and a meal.
Same as us.
But maybe throwing in an extra item or a free sauce is...
Yeah.
Like you said, it does cost pence, and it'll probably make the defining decision.
Yeah, I like that.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, and thanks for your comments. It's not going to change overnight, but hopefully it'll make an impact that cod will be on the menus for a long time to come.
If we could get away with all the pubs and restaurants doing, I'm not saying get away with it, but if a customer would just walk into our shops and go fish and chips and accept that, like I could go to a restaurant literally a stone's throw away from my house now and order fish and chips and ask them what the fish is.
Probably don't know.
Bet the people serving wouldn't know. They just say it's white fish. Yeah. And I'd accept that and I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Same as when we go to McDonald's and you accept things and you go back again. Yeah. But you go to a chip shop and you won't accept that.
No.
Yeah, we never take back a burger from McDonald's that doesn't look like a photo.
Well, they actually look like the photos?
Yeah.
No.
That's what I'm saying. They don't look like the photos. We never go back and complain. Somebody will soon come back and complain to us.
Yeah.
So I was discussing this with Stelios last week. I go to McDonald's. I get served, and then you're told to park up, and you're waiting for ages. Then your food comes, then you're missing an item, then you got to go back in.
When it's cold.
And then the original order's wrong, and it's cold and it's squashed. And do you know what? Next week I go back again. But if that was in you come into my shop, you'd be like, well, I've been here 8 minutes, and the wait's ridiculous, and it's just crazy. And you put in a review online straight away, but any of us here ever left a review for McDonald's? No. But that's the thing is,
I can't remember last time I went, to be honest.
No, but certain things are just accepted, and then when you come to a local takeaway, it was an independent company, and some of them are struggling to keep the doors open. Then you slate them, but you go to McDonald's or Starbucks, and
you accept it because they're corporate. Yeah,
I was taking on the approach of if something was really good, that I would make a comment that it was really good. If something was really poor, that I would go and tell them that it was really poor, because that's what somebody would do to me.
Yeah.
And there are businesses out there that are not known for excellent food because people don't talk about them enough.
Yeah.
I had a coffee from a local coffee shop a couple of weeks ago and it was rubbish. And I went back a couple of days later and I said, the coffee I had on Sunday was really bad. And they answered me, we'll take your feedback on board. And I thought, if that was me, I'd be giving them a fish and chips.
Not only that, ask the questions. Well, what was the issues with it? Was it the taste? Was it the temperature? Was it? Yeah, we'd take it on board.
We'll take your feedback on board.
You live in a small town though, Jem, don't you? So everyone knows you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not her again. She's complaining again.
No.
That's why the shutters keep going down every time you're walking down the street, Jem.
Yeah.
I think one thing the brands do quite well, though, is that I always think the bar in which food is served is that they don't really raise the ceiling, but they raise the bottom. So they raise the bottom of where the standard of food lies. So that's why I don't think many people review them, is because they know they lie at the bottom of, and this probably goes in terms of other sectors as well. So like hotels or food or cars. I mean, if you go to a hotel, then you go to a Premier Inn or Holiday Inn, you know it's not going to be brilliant, but it does raise the bottom, doesn't it? And I think McDonald's do the same as well. They don't raise the bar, but they raise the bottom. so you know where the food standard lies.
Yeah.
They brought out a new food menu, so they've just attracted loads of new customers for their new quarter of the food menu. So at the end of the quarter, it'll start dying down, but people are like, the new food menu's coming out. They're being creative.
Yeah.
So they're pulling
They
people
are very
in.
clever marketing, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Go on, Danny.
I was just saying how we talk about the corporates and how they change the industry. Well, I think the whole argument with the pollock and the cod situation, or the alternative fish, is, we can change it. It's being changed every day by corporates. Why can't we do the same thing? We just got to be clever and use our initiative and be savvy about it. And I think in time things will change. I mean, because I also opened a coffee shop just over a year ago, and you think about Costa, how Costa's changed the landscape of coffee. Everyone expects a coffee this big now.
Yeah.
They come into me and say, "Can I get a large cappuccino?" And I'm like, "Sorry, buddy, it's 8 ounces. That's what a cappuccino should be." And it's like, well, should it be? Costa's, Costa's and the Starbucks of the world, they've changed the whole landscape of coffee. And so there is an argument there that, if they could do it, why can't we do it?
So it was your coffee shop Jemma went to?
Yeah, probably.
I was just going to ask you, is your coffee good?
Yes, it is.
She'll be down tomorrow.
Yeah.
She's going to bring her own merch.
You won't get a big one though.
That's funny.
Right, let's move on to my topic. And my topic was more of a general discussion of where we see the future of fish and chips, where we see our industry going in, say, the next decade. So I've got a couple of ideas that I think will happen naturally with the price of fish going up. And that is that a lot of shops will probably close. The ones that need a lot of investment, the ones that are trading under the VAT threshold, that won't be able to make the cut with future price hikes. But where does that leave the rest of us? What kind of food does that leave us with? So I've got an idea of the future is premium and value. So I don't think it's the middle. I think it's the high end, and I think it's the value-driven shops. So I just wanted a general discussion about what you think. So I think the shops that do fish and chips really well are going to survive. I always like having, and Andrew Cook uses this analogy a lot about the butchers on the high street. The really good independents stay. And the smaller shops, unfortunately, they get absorbed in, or they don't have the profit margin to exist, or other factors come into play like raw commodity prices, which is affecting our industry at the moment. So the state of the industry and where we see our industry going, what kind of shops are we going to see in 10 years' time?
So I was going to agree with you there, Zoe, before you actually said it. The good shops are going to continue to adapt and concentrate on the quality will survive.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, the shops which don't get it right or are not going to survive. But like you said about the value there, that's the only thing I don't agree with, really. I think we need to we all need to understand and appreciate fish and chips for what it is, really, rather than value. I've done it. So when I first opened my shop, I was worried about putting chips at 10 pence. I was worried about charging for carrier bags. And when I look at it and I put it up and I think, no one's asked anything. And then you put it up again and it's not me being greedy, it's because I've had to.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm probably the most expensive in the area now, but I'm also the busiest. And that's just purely down because we got it right. It's because of quality. So I think our industry needs to stop worrying about value so much. It's always going to be good value for money where it is. Like you look at fish now, I've never seen it before. I can go to Tesco's and buy a fillet steak cheaper per kilo than I can with cod.
Yeah.
And I think customers need to see that. Like if someone comes into us, which is very, very rare, fish has gone up again, I'll go next time in the supermarket, look at the price of the cod compared to fillet steak. And then they'll come back in and go, Jesus Christ, I was shocked at that. So I think we need to stop worrying so much about value. We're never going to be an industry where you buy one, you get one free, like you do with pizzas, or you buy something, you get the next one half price. And
it's a different model, isn't it? Like Domino's, for instance, that's their business model. That's how they make money. They don't make money on selling pizzas at full price. The whole business model is about by keeping it high and discounting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not that, well, I say we're not that. There might well be fish and chips on in the futures that are that. But I think consistency is key. I think about serving the same product every week.
So when I said premium and value, what I meant was I was going to finish on this point, is that what I meant is specialization or diversity.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have a lot of shops that specialize in fish, and we'll have a lot of shops that diversify and turn into, say, general takeaways that they heat up food. So that was what I was implying in terms of premium and value. So I think that's the branch off that I've already seen happen in our industry with the launch of chicken products. I mean, I do kebabs and burgers. I definitely went down that diversification route, but I felt as though I kept my core in fish and chips as well.
It's funny because we sell burgers in the restaurant and the takeaway, but I don't even advertise we sell burgers in the takeaway. And we've seen a massive increase in burgers just recently, and it's just weird. I don't know. I mean, it sort of goes against what you're saying, doesn't it, a little bit? But it's just really hard to read, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes other brands do like a burger marketing scheme, and say it's National Burger Week, your burger sales are going to jump automatically because burgers are in the public's eye and their perception. They've seen a poster somewhere advertising it. So I think this happens with National Chip Week and National Fish and Chip Awards as well, that even though even shops that don't enter see a gain from it because fish and chips is in the public's domain somewhere, either in a magazine or online.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, Jem, what do you think?
I think it's like what we spoke about on the fish topic, was diversification is key. We know fish is expensive for us to buy in, and fish is going to be expensive for the customer to buy. But we can diversify, when I mean fish, cod and haddock, but we can diversify that by buying different species of fish. But we can also attract customers by buying different items on our menu, so loaded chips. I mean, a family of 4, 2 of them might buy loaded chips. We can make more money on that. It equates for keeping our prices on cod and haddock down, because the other 2 will have cod and haddock. So balancing out on that, those 4 meals we've sold, we've made a good profit between them all. So we need to be clever of how we change the menu. The cheapest chips phrase has gone.
Yeah, that's definitely gone.
Chips is cheap, but fish and chips is not cheap anymore. But fish and chips is healthy. So we are living in a world where people care about what they put in their bodies. People put in on apps these days how good some foods are, and they don't buy them. People don't want processed foods. Fish and chips is not processed. Our shop, we're not a shop that has a large amount of processed food there. Like, we do have sausages, we do have chicken, it's processed, but we're not selling pizzas, we're not selling kebabs. So keeping your menu to a very traditional style, but doing good things with it, is what we need to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's like diversifying. Like you just said there, we've got like chicken selection trays for the younger people, and then we've got fish for the parents. So I agree with what you're saying there. And like, everything we do in our shop is, I want it to be high end. So I've gone down the burger route previously, but I wasn't buying frozen patties. I was buying brisket. I was mincing it. I was making them from scratch. They went extremely well, and they were really profitable too. But the issue I've got is my shop is tiny, and I can't do it all. I can't have someone out on the grill because I need them in the shop, and then I haven't got the room, the fridge space, the storage. So I struggled with that because the fish and chip side was busy and the burger side was busy. The only way I was going to get that to work is to
open a burger shop.
The burgers in a separate premises, and then you're back to square one where your fish and chip shop is predominantly fish sales. So for us, I'd love to be able to do burgers because we do. I believe we do them well, and there's a big call from them. They sold really well, but I just can't do them in the premises.
I don't want to do them. It's not something I want to do, but it was just funny to see how there'd been an increase, even though it's not even on the menu. And it's like, well, what's going on here? Something.
But it definitely makes sense for you to do them, especially if you're a restaurant. Because like Jemma just said, if I was going out with my wife and 2 kids, the 2 of them kids are going to have a burger.
Yeah.
So it definitely makes sense for you to do them. But
I think that's the way I see it as well. Is that if a family of 5 was coming in, and one of them wanted a kebab and one of them wanted a burger, they're going to choose my place over the competitor because we do a range of products.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that all of you have said is you're good at something. So confidence is key.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to be known for the premium fish and chip shop if you're not confident in what you sell.
Absolutely.
You're not going to become the best of the best. It's like you, Ryan, you were only going to win the best fish and chip shop in the UK if you were confident that you were selling the best fish and chips in the UK. And confidence, you had to put yourself out there. You had to sell.
You've got to believe in your product,
yourself really well. And I think you've got to diversify yourself as well. I sell fish and chips. Now I sell good fish and chips. Changing that word in that sentence is vital. So you sell burgers. You sell excellent burgers.
I can only sell something I get excited about, really.
Yeah.
There's not stuff on my menu that there's only one thing on my menu I personally don't like. But other than that, I can't sell something I can't get excited about or I'm not proud to serve.
Yeah, I think you're right there. You do have to be passionate. I mean, I only sell something in my shop that I have myself and I would be happy eating. But I've gone. I went down the diversification route a while ago, and I just stuck with it. I just felt as though with having seating in the shop, like Danny as well, is that you're going to capture the market, a family market. That if you target one of them, the others will follow. So you capture that family of 5 rather than just that person of 1 and then just go into 4 different shops. But I remember one thing that I read on Amazon and Jeff Bezos about diversification. And that was when he was diversifying his product range, when he was starting up the Kindle. In his top layer circle, one of the executives said, how much are we going to bet on diversification? And Jeff Bezos said, we're going to bet the whole company on it. We're going to bet everything on it. Because if we don't, that market share will go to someone else and we will lose market share. And I think that's the way I see it as well, is that if I don't do kebabs and burgers, I will lose market share in my area. So in order to maintain market share, I have to sell brilliant kebabs and brilliant burgers. So I always see it like that, is that to capture the market, I have to, not to capture the market, not to lose market share, I have to implement diversification.
Do you think it's location as well?
I think for me it is, again, like I think I said this previously, I try and look what other shops aren't doing and try and bring in a product or something better. Like I started Haddock, we do hake now. I love the idea that Jemma said about loaded chips, because in terms of fish and chips, if fish goes through the roof, I always try and be a little bit innovative and say, right, let's concentrate on the chips. So we're looking at loaded chips at the moment as an option.
How do they work for you, Jem?
Spice bags, they've flown through the roof. I mean, so we did the Irish spice bag. We didn't use Irish curry, we used our own curry because we like our curry. Yeah. But we just branded it as the Irish spice bag because it was a viral trend on TikTok. And then I noticed, I try and follow like what the food market trend is. And I noticed chicken Kiev was becoming up there. So I made my own garlic butter. I made my own seasoning for the chips. And I bought chicken in and I did a chicken Kiev bag. And that has but it was a special. So it drew people in. Like I said, half the family bought chicken Kiev bag, the other half bought fish and chips. That's what I wanted. I wanted to sell fish and chips as well, because that's what I'm known for. But I drew the customer in. And now we're like, can we have it permanent on the menu? No, because I'm going to find something else that will draw you in again before long. You'll forget about the Irish spice bag. You'll forget about the chicken Kiev bag because you like the burger. So it's drawing them in all the time with different ideas. And I think spending your admin time looking at food trends is vital to diversify. But those bags, they cost less than a tray.
I like that philosophy of not having it as a permanent item and constantly changing it. I think that's where I have the problem, is that if I don't want it permanently on the menu. I want it as a special, as a monthly special. Then I take it off, bring something new in, because then you have menu creep where you just constantly have something that isn't selling. Obviously, as operators here, we want to turn over as much food as we can, as often as we can. But yeah, constantly changing it is the way forward. But I don't know about the spice bag. It's not a massive thing in Cardiff.
Well, it wasn't in Math.
It might be.
What's a spice? I don't even know what a spice bag is. What is it?
What do you put in there?
So the Irish spice bag is, so we've just used a salt and pepper seasoning that we bought in, but then I made my own. Chicken, shredded chicken, peppers, onions, chili flakes. Put it all in a bag, shake it together, and it's served in a foiled bag.
Oh, wow.
And then the chicken Kiev one, how we did it was we put the chips, the chicken, the garlic butter, the seasoning, shook it all in the bag so it looks clever that it's shaken in the bag. There are people holding something different. They're not holding a box.
It's like a loaded chip style in a bag.
Yeah, but it's just in a bag, just different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your paws will stink of garlic for days.
I've seen quite a lot of shops doing them.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you eat it? Is it a finger food then? It's not like with a fork, is it?
Yeah, I just encourage people to open the bag up so it's just this way. So it looks like a load of chips at the end once you've opened it up.
Yeah. Is this like a bag you get where it's one side foil, one side paper?
Yeah, a naan bread bag.
Or is it just all foil?
It's like you get a naan bread in.
Right, fine, I get you. Yeah, cool.
Did you get curry, Danny?
You are.
The reason why John is asking is she's not allowed in any curry houses in the area. She complains about the
Yeah, the last curry place you complained.
She goes in there and just takes the bags.
Yeah, we do loaded chips, but we do them in a box. But it was I just like the idea. It sounds like really cool, like Irish curry bag.
Yeah, and then you just did the pot separate of the curry, so people pour it over.
Yeah.
But like you just said, Jem, it's holding something different. So like we've always done chicken curry and chips or chicken curry half and half. It comes in a tray. We started doing them in bowls, round bowls. We sold loads more.
Yeah.
Just because it's a bowl.
Yeah.
You're getting less food in
But they don't need to know that.
than you would in the tray, but people just went nuts for it. Yeah. So it's the same thing like Jemma just said. I think it's just because, again, someone put it on social media as a video.
Yeah.
There's loads of shops around that selling them now just because you get a bag instead of a box or wrapped in paper.
Yeah.
I think it's just...
That's something we love.
And it is important.
Yeah.
I think it is important, like you just said, of doing specials. Like Christmas is a big example. We do a Christmas menu.
Yeah, we do.
We get people to start asking.
Yeah.
We get people start asking in October when it's starting.
Yeah.
Because it is good to mix it up. So and like we discussed earlier, McDonald's every quarter they'll fetch out a new menu, a secret menu, or the Big Arch or Big Tasties, and it draws people in. And it does work. You can go past, and when they've just launched this new secret menu, queues are huge.
So after Christmas, I did a Boxing Day Beast burger, and it was just like everything you want after Christmas. It was like beef, onion rings, mozzarella, all deep fried stuff in a roll. It flew out. Cheese. Yeah. Boxing Day Beast, but it was like labelled in a way as, I need that because it's the day after Boxing Day.
Anything but turkey.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of these pizza boxes that a lot of people give out now? So a little bit of everything in, like onion rings, fish cakes, a scoop of chips, a curry sauce. What do you think about them?
I've been there, done that.
I haven't seen those.
It's not for me. We do selection trays, like I said earlier. So you'd get some 7 fried chicken, you get some chicken chunks, onion rings, mozzarella and mushrooms. But it's just in a standard corrugated fish and chip box. But these share boxes, everyone's doing them now. So Chinese do them, the Indian does them, fish and chip shop does them. Everyone's doing them, but some of them look amazing. But then other times they just look absolutely dreadful because it's just everything slammed in a box.
I think it's an outdated item as well for the menu. It's not new. It's not different. It's
like we were discussing even with these share bags. It's one of those things. Yeah. It's come in, it's done its time, and it's gone. Let's move on to the bags. Let's move on to the trays or the bowls.
Yeah,
it's hard keeping up with times though, and just thinking of new stuff and new ideas of what to bring out because it's constantly changing, isn't it?
And again, like Jemma said, all it is really is you just holding a different packet.
Yeah.
Same food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same food. It's just in a big box.
And in the past, we'd have gone wild. The chicken's on offer. Let's order 10 boxes. No, let's only order 5. Once it's gone, it's gone. Simple as. Yeah. And when you sell it as
you're creating a
limited,
need or a want there, aren't you?
Yeah, limited edition.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of vocabulary that McDonald's use, limited edition. That's how they grab them in. Is like, oh no, I have to go this week because it's limited edition.
Yeah.
Next week, you just give me a good idea. Next week, I'm going to do limited edition, cod and chips, £25. The week after, I'll be back to normal price.
Hey, I tell you what, that's a really good idea, though, Ryan. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's cod in the UK. There's a premium.
I just don't know, do you?
I'll tell you one thing I've thought about this year is we've got a park near us, Victoria Park, and it's always jammed during summer. Doing like picnic boxes, so doing like something in a box, a couple of chips, calling it a picnic box, and maybe throwing in like a sweet treat or something in there, so that they can just take it to the park and have a picnic. So like a picnic box. So that's one thing I thought about.
Yeah.
Again, it's just doing something that someone else doesn't do, and people see it. You're gonna have to brand it well, because when people see you carrying that box or bag, I would want them to know that it's from Zero.
You only want to sell cakes so you can eat.
Oh, yeah, that's true as well. But it's just
We
I don't know, in the
Yeah,
picnic,
no.
you'd want maybe a scone in there with some jam or something, or there's got to be a bundle box I can pick up,
Clotted
or
cream.
some sweet treats. I mean, you got to entice the kids, though, haven't you?
You'll sell 2 cakes, I need 3.
Yeah. Well, saying that, I did want to try the new range by Tea Quality. They brought out a new dessert range, and I really wanted to give it a go because I thought desserts were going to be a huge seller, but I didn't. I think last year wasn't the right time for me to start that. But I think desserts are a massive upsell in our industry as well. Do any of you sell cakes, desserts?
We're doing desserts in the restaurant now.
Yeah, ice cream. Yeah.
Slowing
Yeah.
down for us. We've always done cakes and takeaway or for delivery, but they're actually, for some reason, all of a sudden slowing down.
What do you do, Jem?
Because we've got the ice cream shop, Dad has been pestering me that we should do desserts in the restaurant for a long, long time. But my concept was we're a fish and chip restaurant and we need them to have fish and chips and sell the table again for another fish and chips. But we should use the premises that we've got because we share the same kitchen. We're all in the same premises. So, we just we've launched a dessert menu. It's not out yet. The ice cream shop's not back open, so we'll open it once the season really hits off and hopefully we'll see. But we're on about putting a scooped counter into the restaurant next year, so we'll see.
Danny, you do ice cream as well, which makes sense because you're by the coast.
Yeah. We do pots to take away of a local ice cream guys, and we do Sundays in the restaurant.
Oh, nice. Are they a big seller?
Which go really well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this. I think a couple of years ago, it was a massive trend in not just our industry, just in fast food in general. And we've got a lot of pop-up shops now where people get waffles, sundaes, ice cream. You can get whatever you want. I mean, you're spot for choice really on the selection choice in city centres. That's why I was a bit reluctant and I stepped away from it because I just thought as though I'm not going to be able to do it quite well. So let's just not do it. But I might revisit it this year. Always scanning for new items.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's finish the podcast.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today. Ryan, Jemma, Danny, thanks for giving up your time. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good chatting to you all.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah. Thanks for
That's been fun.
Hope the listeners listening enjoyed listening. If you like anything we talked about, please comment below or tell us if you didn't like anything we talked about. Thanks for listening. Take care, guys. Bye.
Catch you later.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.